So let's talk floral, because I don't think people realize with that either that, and again, I'm getting more educated on this over the last couple of years because I didn't realize until I was planning that even in floral, that there's waste and there's a way that we could be, reducing our carbon footprint with that. I got lucky, and a dear friend of mine is a florist. And so we went to the wholesaler in town, picked up whatever flowers, and and I didn't need a lot, So I got lucky in that, but not everyone's that lucky. And some people, floral is their number one thing that they want for their wedding. And
I'd say that's great. A lot of people.
It is a lot of people. And so how can you still have that dream of having all the floral, but be sustainable and mindful?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I would say who you work with to start will play a huge deal in this, because how they source their floral, and every floral designer is a little different, but where and how they source their floral is a big piece of that footprint. There's a floral designer, let's say, who specifically sources their floral from, let's say, the US, and ideally within, and I'm just sort of making this up, let's say like a 500-mile radius. And they focus on seasonal floral, and once again, aiming for local. And then there's a florist who works with suppliers all across the globe. They get their orchids from Thailand, they get their tulips from Amsterdam, etc. Right? Just imagine in your head like the amount of distance that floral has to go in order to get to Cleveland, right?
And to stay alive in the process.
Exactly. The refrigeration, right? The air freight or what have you that needs to get to Cleveland. That's a big difference between those two, just purely on location, like where it's sourced from. So I would think about it in the sense of that. So aiming to work with a florist who does work with local farmers, right? And local, the radius of local might be different in different places, depending on, where that's grown, but more locally based, and I would say more seasonal, because you're not trying to ship peonies in December from some random place because peonies don't grow in December, right? It's thinking about and relying on your florist really to tell you like what's going to be beautiful in this time frame with the colors you're aiming for and the look you want. And they have that knowledge, right? They can steer you and be like, I think you'd love this. And this is very abundant in October. And it has the right look. It has the right color, right? They have all that information. You don't need to go research that. Utilize your florist and aim for those who are kind of focusing on that. I'd say that's step one. Because
I'm so glad you said seasonality, because we talked about this on a catering episode with Chef Dante and Stephanie, and it's the same food and floral. You will get the best results and you'll save money. By being in season.
Yep.
And if, like you mentioned, the peonies, if that's really important to you, and that's great if it is, but if it's that important to you, maybe plan your wedding for June. A time or a location when that's going to be in bloom. Yeah.
Yes.
Think about those things.
Seasonal will always be more cost effective because it's in supply, right? It's not something that's rare in that time frame.
And rare is always more expensive, as we know, with anything, whether it's a diamond or a peony. Anything, it's going to be more expensive,
An appointment at your doctor, right?
It's absolutely.
It's harder. And if there's less of it, right, then also the price goes up. So it saves your wallet, too, when you're thinking in this way.
I would
say, that's a big piece. The other one that is a huge, not controversial, but I've had different conversations with people about this, but floral foam. So a lot of people don't know what floral foam is. Essentially, it's this green thing that like you fill with water and it becomes like this, what's the best word? Like mold that you can shove flowers in and it'll stay in place. So a lot of people use it for things like floral backdrops, sometimes centerpieces, things that require where like gravity is not on your side, for lack of a better word. Sometimes floral arches will have this because, you know, the flowers are trying to come out this way, but no flower is going to just
they want to
stay that way.
They're going to wilt.
Yes. So it's used a lot, and it's been used like for a long time, but it's totally toxic and it has like no life after. So
yeah, you can't reuse it.
There are a lot of floral designers who are purposefully moving away from fluorofoam.
Good.
It's harder, right? In some instances, because it gives you the ability to do things that there isn't always a great alternative necessarily. People are coming up with really interesting ways though.
Especially arches.
And there are new contraptions, for lack of a better word, that can help with that. But that's a biggie that a lot of people use because it's easy and it gets you to have the look that you're looking for, but it's terrible. It's a terrible product in the sense of sustainability.